are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and I am so excited for today's video because we are taking a look back on April. I'm going to go through every single sale that Jeremy and I had on Poshmark, Mercari, what have you, that sold for over $35. Now, I feel like that $35 mark is kind of just the nice bread and butter mark of Poshmark, of eBay, of reselling in general. If something's selling for about $35, then it's worth taking note of and picking up at a thrift store. So I'm going to cover with you guys everything that I sold last month that sold for $35 and up. And hopefully that will be some fun information for you guys. Or if you guys are just interested in my reselling journey, then you can see what I've been selling and maybe learn a little bit of something along the way, maybe a new brand. And as always, I am so grateful to have you guys here. If you guys are new here, welcome. And also, if you are not already subscribed, I would absolutely love it if you would hit that button because that is the #1 way to support my channel and it is absolutely free. So that is lovely. Let me scoot to the side so that we can put some pictures up on the screen of these sales as they come in. So we're gonna start with my Poshmark and what's sold on there. So I am not going in order of high to low. They're all mixed together. They're going by when they sold. If I have anything noteworthy to add, I will. So in April, we sold 91 items and 36 of those items sold for $35 or more, which is actually pretty good for us. I am pretty happy with that, to be sure. So let's start off with what sold on Poshmark. I have quite a few here that sold on my Poshmark, so let's jump through them. This first piece that I sold is something I picked up in a recent thrift haul, I think just like 1 or 2 thrift hauls ago, and it's this beautiful J. Crew dress. It was so cute. It was in a size 12. I think it was a linen blend or cotton, and it's just this really cute enlarged polka dot dress from J. Crew. It is just from J. Crew, but I have found that their dresses perform pretty well for me, and I picked this up for $5 on a half off day at 2nd Avenue Thrift Store, one of my new favorite thrift stores for sure. So I paid $5. We sold it for $45. After Poshmark took its fees, we made $36. So we made $31 on this dress, and I thought that was a pretty good sale. And it only was up for a couple days, so I was very happy with that. And then this next sale, it's right on that $35 mark. So I thought I'd include it even though it sold for $34. But it's this amazing vintage vest. It was this really cool like crocheted knit vest, and I love picking up vintage pieces. Almost every month, vintage makes up the majority of my sales, or at least they're usually the biggest portion of my pie. Because I find some really cool vintage items in the bins, and there's quite a market out there for it. So I wouldn't sleep on picking up some really cool knit pieces. This vest was amazing. It was sold for $34 on Poshmark, so we made $27.20. And since I only paid about $1 for it, we're looking at like $26 of net profit, which is great. The next piece that I sold for over $35 was this Zaya pair of leggings. These sold for $36, so we made $28.80. These I had sitting in a pile for so long. I picked these up at a Goodwill a while ago, and then I finally got around to listing them. I think I paid $3.99 for these, sold them for $36, so we made about $25 off of these. This is actually the first time I've ever sold Zaya, and I sold 2 Zaya pieces this month as being my first month trying them out. So honestly, pretty happy with that brand. It's had a pretty quick sell through rate for me. Then this next thing that sold was this Lesley Evers 100% cotton blue flower butterfly dress in size medium. It sold for $45, but I picked this up in the bins and it was so lightweight. I'm sure I paid around $1 or less for it. So I sold it for $45, made $34.28. So net profit after cost of goods is probably about $33. That was a great pickup in the bins. I love going to the bins. I love finding things in the bins. I love selling things from the bins. It's my favorite place to thrift. It's just super fun. Now, this pair of black Dansko heeled loafers I sold this month, and I started picking up some other Danskos. This pair was actually given to me, and so I didn't have to pay for them. They sold for $44. They sat for probably a good year. They were up before they sold, but they sold for $44, and I made $33.48. And then the next thing that sold was this pair of Tory Burch black snakeskin Riva flats in a size women's 8.5. These ones were really exciting because I also picked these up in the bins. This is, I think, the first time that I found a matching pair of Tory Burch shoes in the bins. So it was a really exciting time for me for sure. So I paid probably about $1 or $2 for those, and they sold for $45, and I believe to a viewer, so thank you so much. If any of you ever buy something from me, it really means a lot to me. Like, you have no idea. It's so kind of you. But from those shoes, after Poshmark took its fees, we made $36. So probably about $34, $35 from that as a net profit. Really, really excited every time I find those Tory Burch little Revo flats. I have sold 2 pairs so far. I found another pair at a Goodwill recently. I don't think I've shown you those yet, but you'll be seeing those soon. They sell really quickly for me, so I would be on the lookout for those. And then this is a very interesting piece because this is another vintage item that sold for good money. But I was shocked at the amount of interest that I got in this, and it sold within a few, I don't know if it was a few minutes or like within the hour at least. It sold so quickly. So I would be on the lookout for something like this. This is something I picked up, I think, on my very first or second trip ever to the bins. So we're talking, I've had this for 2 or 3 years, and I had it in my drafts in Poshmark, but I just didn't know what size it was, and I never knew where it was in my inventory, and so I never listed it until I finally saw it as I was cleaning out my basement and trying to move things around and figuring out what to take pictures of for Poshmark. And I saw it, and I was like, you know what? I just need to get a picture of that size tag so I can list it. And it was this vintage FFA 1960s blue corduroy jacket. I picked it up in Indiana back when I lived there. So it was this vintage Indiana, and it had this embroidered 1960s date on it, and it was really cool. And I picked that up very early on in my reselling career, and it sold so quickly for $45. So I felt very validated in my taste level. Even before I knew what brands resold, I thought that that was a cool piece. So I sold it for $45. I had a couple offers even. And so I probably could have listed it for more. I probably could have sold it around $75. But you know what? I was happy with finally moving it, and they loved it. So that's great. I made $34.28. I probably paid about $1 for it. So that was an excellent sale. Very interesting time for sure. And then we sold some shoes. This is a pair of Chacos. I love a good Chaco. I found these in the bins. These were a pair of rainbow Chacos. And I sold this same pair a couple times now, and for pretty good money every time. I sold these for $45. So some Chacos can go for really good money. Some just kind of, go for like $25 to $30, which is still great. But if you get a plain colored one, like a black one, usually those can do pretty well too, depending on how many straps there are and if there's a toe strap. I personally love a toe strap. I think that adds to the value as well. So these sold for $45. I made $34.28, but I picked those up in the bin, so that was a great sale. And then this next piece was one of my highest sales of the month, and I talked about this in my What Sold in April video. So if you haven't seen that, make sure to go watch that for all of the overview numbers for my April sales in general. But it was this pink Lululemon Swiftly long sleeve shirt I picked up at a Savers for I think around $7. I resold it for $90, which is a great flip. I don't often find that kind of a profit in my local like Goodwills or Savers, but that was a great find, and one of you guys really did help me out by telling me that it was worth more than I thought it was, so thank you again. I sold it for $90. We made $72, so right around $65 of net profit at the end of the day. Very happy with that, and I will not be sleeping on pink Lululemon ever again. And then this next thing was something that sold really quickly as well. It was this pair of Palladiums. Never seen this brand before. I saw it in the bins, and I just knew that it looked really cool, and it looked very trendy. So they looked like Doc Martens at first, but they were these Palladium. They were called the Women's Pampa, and they're in black in a size women's 7.5. So this is what they looked like. But they were a really cool pair of boots, and they were in great shape. I picked those up in the bins for probably $2 or $3, and we sold them for $45. So I feel like another thing I'm noticing is I sell a lot of things for $45, and that's because I list a lot of things at $50, and then I have Poshmark VA, which sends out automatic offers for me, and so I'm always sending out, what I have them sending out is a 10% off and $5.95 shipping, and so that's why a lot of these sales are read at like a $45. It's whatever is 10% off of whatever I listed it at. So also, if you have not tried out Poshmark VA, I highly suggest it. It has changed my life, and I do not say that lightly. They are not paying me to say this. Poshmark VA was the best investment I made in my business. I have a code that will get you, I think, 20% off your first month or a free month, something like that. I'll put the code on the screen. It's also in the description box of every video, but honestly, I highly suggest it. If you haven't tried it, I dare you to try it, and it will change your life. it took away so much of my stress, and I'm very thankful for it. So I sold those Palladium boots for $45. And then I had this really other exciting sale that I picked up in the bins as well. And this is something I took a chance on because a lot of times, sometimes I'll see some like fur coats or things in the bins and either they smell weird, they have holes, or I just feel weird about picking them up. But this piece I did some research on before I picked it up. And I saw that I had some pretty good sold comps for it. And it was this Jacques Saint Laurent Frigidel real fur coat. It was in a size large. Actually, it didn't have a size on it. I just gauged it at a size large and then gave measurements. But it sold for $67. So it was listed at $75, and then I think the 10% off then would take it to $67. So we made $51.88, and I picked it up in the bins. So I will take that any day of the week. That's amazing. So I would also be looking out for some vintage like fur coats. If they're in great condition, they can go for good money. Then this next piece I picked up was this pair of Vince Gray suede leather slip-on shoes. And these were in a men's size 11.5. These sat for a good long while. I picked these up at a random Goodwill near the bins I go to in Delaware. And I think I paid like $5 or $7 for them. They sat for so long and then they sold outright. So some guy came along, bought them outright for $50 and I made $40. So about $35 of net profit on those. And then this is a piece that I know a lot of you guys loved. I loved it too. I wish it fit me. It did not, but it was just such a pretty vintage floral puff sleeve blouse with the mock neck. I even tried to try this on for you guys in my video, but it was a gorgeous floral blouse. And I sized it at a size 10. I gave measurements. It sold for $45. So the 10% off of 50. It sold for $45. I made $36. And I got in the bins. So about $35 of profit. I feel like it's easy to watch a video like this and be like, oh my gosh, you're making so much money. But there's a lot of time that goes into this. And I also don't make money on everything I pick up. Sometimes I pick up flops, you know? So the next piece that sold was this Free People Sensual Surplice wrap sweater in lilac. I'm pretty sure that I picked this up at the Plato's Closet 90% off sale last year. So I think I probably paid $2 or less for it, and I sold it for $45, made $36. Great sale. And a lot of people, they sleep on Free People. Some Free People things do sell for good money, so I highly suggest taking at least some looks at them and doing your research. This next piece, picked it up in the bins. This is the piece I picked up based on the print, and I didn't realize that it was a more desirable line from J. Crew until I did some research. But it's a J. Crew floral Liberty fabric half button down. It was in a size 6, and the Liberty, apparently Liberty works with J. Crew, and they have their own fabrics. That's what I'm getting the vibe of, at least when I was doing some research. But since it was with Liberty, those pieces retail for more money and also have a better resale value. So I would be on the lookout. It was on the tag that it said made with Liberty fabric, and a lot of them are more of these like bigger, bolder floral prints. So that was a great pickup. I started off listing it at, I think I listed it first at like 25 or something, 35. And then I raised the price because I realized, oh, this is actually worth more than that. So I think I raised it to 50 maybe. It sold for 40. So I sold it for $40 and we made $32 on it. And I picked it up in the bins for about $1, so $31 of profit. And then we have a piece that came from my personal wardrobe from a closet clean out. It was this new tag, altered state embroidered flowers crew neck. Not much to say about this. I had it and I just never wore it. It was $35. That's what it sold for. Made $28. And I think that was a gift, so I didn't actually pay anything for it. And then we had this jumpsuit that sold, which is really exciting because I just picked this up. A lot of pieces I just picked up from Second Avenue Thrift, almost everything is sold, which is very good. That is showing that I'm getting better at picking pieces and I'm picking well. So this was a new without tags Madewell denim apron bowback jumpsuit. So cute. I believe I took an offer on this for $58. I think I listed it at $75 maybe. So I sold it for $58 and we made $44.68. I paid $3.99 for that jumpsuit. I don't know why they had it low. They had it priced so low, and I think it was half off or something. But we made about $40 from that jumpsuit, and it sold within a few days at the most. And then our biggest sale of April was this new with tags black halo jumpsuit. It was the Joaquin, I think is the name of how you say it. It's a wide leg textured jumpsuit in a size 2. So even though it's a size 2, it still sold for a great amount of money. It sold for $135, which is insane. I picked it up at Goodwill for around $10, and we made $108. So that was a wonderful sale. I would definitely double check anything that's new with tags at Goodwill if it's a reasonable price. Even if it's marked up, sometimes it's still worth picking up. I would not normally pay that much for things. I like the bins pricing. I like to pay $1 per item, but I paid $10 or $12, I think, for that jumpsuit, and it was definitely worth it. I made a lot of good money off of that. And as soon as the weather turned warmer, because this was like a very thin strapped jumpsuit, that's when it sold, and it sold outright. So Black Halo, put it in your memory, hold on to it, definitely worth remembering. Then this next piece was a pair of good American jeans I picked up at 2nd Avenue Thrift. I think I paid like $7 for these, and one of you lovely viewers picked it up. I am so jealous. This person lives in Hawaii, and I just like, every time she talks or leaves a comment, I'm just like, I need to go to Hawaii. It just sounds so much fun. But she picked those up from me for $60, and I made $48, so about $40 at the end of the day. And then also from that same 2nd Avenue thrift trip, I got this Penn State Nittany Lions pink floral spirit jersey, and that sold really quickly. I think that sold within a day for $35, and we made $28. I'm pretty sure I paid $2 or $3.99 for it, so we made over $24 on that. And then I sold this pair of Athleta 7/8 elation leggings. I really appreciate it that some of the Athleta pieces that are more modern will have the actual style name written on the waistband. I pick up Athleta in the bins no matter what. Athleta is quickly becoming one of my favorite activewear categories to sell. I just really like picking them up, and I find that they usually sell pretty quickly and for good money. These leggings sold for $40, and so we made $32 on them. I forgot to take them off of Mercari, and within one day of selling them, I got an offer for them on Mercari for $36. So right about $36, $40 was a really good, easy sale. I would have been able to sell them twice if I had 2 of them. So that was a good one. And then this was a pair of jeans that I picked up at the 2nd Avenue Thrift not too long ago. They were the J. Crew curvy full-length demi boot in size 30 in a dark wash. I picked these up based on style. These were a really cute style, really modern, really what has been really trendy right now. And I have been sleeping on a lot of J. Crew, and I feel like maybe I should stop because these sold for $34. We made $27.20. I'm pretty sure these were half off of $7.99 or something like that. Maybe $6.98. I think they were like $3.50 is what I'm trying to say. And so we made, over $20 on that pair of jeans, and I sold them within like 2 days. So that was a great sale. And then we sold this pair of Timberland lace-up boots. That's the entire title. So that tells you how long I have had these, because I had these listed before we were able to make our titles longer. So I've had those for a good long while. I picked them up in the bins. They had quite a bit of wear to them. So when I sold them outright at $50, I was like, really? Okay, I'll take it. I'm happy with that. I made $40 and I got a 5-star rating. So it's exactly what they were looking for. That's great. And then the last piece that I sold on my Poshmark was this pair of Fly London black chunky leather booties. I talked about these also in my What Sold in April video. I picked these up in the bins for probably about $3, maybe a little bit more or less, depending on how heavy they were, but we sold them for $75 on Poshmark. So I made $60 of profit. I'm pretty sure they bought these outright. So that was a really exciting pickup, and I was really pleased with those. And then I sold some things on my Mercari and on Jeremy's Poshmark. So let's talk about the things I sold on my Mercari for $35 and above. The first piece was this pair of Justin tall cowboy boots. They were this really orangish color, and they were in pretty good condition for being in the bins, but I sold them for $45 on Mercari. So we made $38.89. Pretty good sale. Picked them up in the bins, so not very mad at that at all. And then we sold this dress, which was actually mine. I bought this for myself, and then I actually never wore it. It was this New Tags Madewell ruffle sleeve dress. The funny thing is, my sister also had the exact same dress in the exact same size that she gave to me to sell months ago. So I have another one listed again. So maybe we'll sell it again, but we sold it for $50 on Mercari. So from $50, we made $43.25, which was great because I think originally they had a dress sale at one point where I paid like $25 for the dress. So I still made money on it, even though it was from my own personal wardrobe. And then this next thing that I sold was this vintage Disney Epcot Mickey Mouse zip-up sweater. This was not up for very long. I think this was up for less than a day before it sold for $38 on Mercari, and we made $32.80. I love picking up Disney. I think a lot of people skip it, but I think that there's a really good market, especially for vintage Disney. People really like that stuff. And then the last thing that I sold on Mercari for over $35 was this Burton Dry Ride Weatherproof winter jacket. And it sold in the middle of April, which is great, for $65, which is wonderful. And we made $56.31. So I feel like that also just goes to show that you can sell any kind of weather clothes all year round. Like, it doesn't really matter if something is seasonal. A lot of people are going on trips places. I like to pick up things all year round. Obviously, some things will sit until it hits the right weather, but for the most part, it doesn't truly matter that much. And then we come to what Jeremy sold on his Poshmark. So he sold this new with tags made for Anthropologie dress. So cute. I picked this up at Goodwill not too long ago for $7.99. Yeah, $8. We sold it for $61. We had it listed at $80 and we had so much interest. I could not sell this thing though. We got offer after offer on it. I think at the end we had like something like 100 likes on this dress. But somebody finally bought it for $61. So we made $48.80. We made $40 off of that pickup. And then another bins pickup was this James Purse shirt. I wasn't familiar with this brand, but I looked at it. The tag looked nice. I looked it up, and I would totally pick up something from James Purse again, especially if it was in the bins. But we sold it for $35. So we made $28 off of that. And it's a nicer brand, but they have very interesting sizing, so you have to be kind of careful when you're listing it. And then another one of my Second Avenue thrift finds came through on Jeremy's Poshmark. He sold the 7 for All Mankind dojo jeans. I was pretty happy with these. These sold really quickly. I've only found dojo jeans twice now, and both times they sold within a day. The first pair I sold was $72. This pair we sold for $65. I'm still happy with that because I did pay up for them. I paid $9.99 for them, but we sold them for $65 within a day, and we made $52. So I made about $40 off of that pair of jeans. Great flip. I was excited about it. Found those, was really happy. And then Jeremy also sold this pair of a Goldie jeans. These, I have not really had great luck with a Goldie. I don't know why everybody's always talking about how great it is. It's sat for me for so long. And then they finally sold for $46. But I was under the impression that they would make me easily like $70 to $80, maybe $100. So I don't know if my expectations were just too high, but we only made $46 off of them. And then we made $36.80 after Poshmark took its fees. So it was a medium sale. I'm not mad at it. I just was expecting it to be better from everything that everybody says about it, but that's fine with me. Then the next thing Jeremy sold was this Buff Bunny little balanced heather gray hoodie. It was in a size medium. I picked it up from a local Goodwill for $5.99, sold it for $35. And then we made $28 off of it. So just about $20 of profit. But that one didn't sit very long either. And that was part of the Dollar Thrift Challenge, which is great. So that was really moving up the needle on our challenge bank. And then we have 3 more pieces. That sold for over $35. This has really been, I feel like this is a long video. This is a lot of information. But I love watching these sorts of videos. I think that these are the most helpful videos if you are a reseller. Hopefully it's been fun. Let's do it. 3 more pieces. We have this new with tags Jones New York Edge of Darkness. It's not just sound dramatic. This Edge of Darkness black and white cocktail dress. It was in a size 22. I picked that up in the bins, and I don't normally pick up Jones New York anything, but since it was new with tags, I grabbed it, and Jeremy sold it for $40, which is amazing. It took us a while to find it. Downstairs, my basement, my storage area is a hot mess. I need to do some revamping before I'm able to show it to you guys, but we sold it for $40, so we made $32. So right about $30 of net profit. And then we sold the pair of Keen Xeroport sandals. I picked these up in my shoe haul from the bins. I found these in the bins and they were a great find. They were a size 6, and anything rainbow printed or tie-dye has been really hot for me lately. These sold for $35. I'm pretty sure we had them listed at $50 and we took an offer of $35 because we wanted to move them quickly. So we made $28 at the end of the day, and then from the bins, probably like $26 of net profit. And then the very last thing that sold on Jeremy's Poshmark was this new with tags Topshop long sleeve dress. It was gorgeous. It had these really cute little embellishments and beading all over it. Very pretty dress. And we sold it for $45 and made $36. I got that at a local Goodwill for $8. So I made $28 of net profit at the end of the day. Woo! I feel like that was a lot of information. I'm very thankful that you stayed until the end. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for watching, for purchasing items from me, and for being subscribers of my channel. You guys really are making a difference in my life, and I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Hopefully some of this information will help you out as well, or you'll just have some fun watching. Either way, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and until the next video, bye.